Welcome out to another episode of It's All Been Trucked Before. This time, our man Bashir. Yep, Deep Space Nine. Our man Bashir. We love him a lot now. If you've been listening, you know we love him a lot now. Hopefully you do too. Let's talk about what he's up to this time. It's all been trekked before. This is kind of almost this episode. We're going to our man Bashir. We kind of get an alternate world. It's like bonus. Here's how you get bonus stuff and get into our alternate worlds. Become a Patreon member. Patreon.com/IABD. You get our special episodes. You get the videos. And there's a lot of extra content there. You see our haircuts. See what we're up to there. You can really keep up with us. But really, you just get some extra content there, which is great. And I said this a couple weeks ago, you get extra content from our mothership. It's All Been Done Radio Hour. Really get a good hunk of that stuff going on there, which I know you will love. Just like we dug this, our man Bashir, Deep Space Nine, it's all been checked before.
Welcome out to another episode of It's All Been Trekked Before. Your skeleton crew is here.
This is Stephen.
Olivia James. We're here to talk about the Deep Space Nine episode, Our Man Bashir, First Impressions.
You know, everyone's going to expect me to really hate this episode because it's holodeck, holosuite. You know, I just turned off my mind early on. I mean, I love Bond, and I think Alexander Siddiq makes it I would love to see him as a Bond. I enjoyed him in this episode.
Yeah.
Like, he's got it. And all the other, accoutrement, if you will, they have early on in the episode. Garrick's there and all that stuff. So I didn't get caught up in like, this is stupid because, and obviously, Kira shows up, our girl Nana visitor. Of course, she's the Russian femme fatale, and she is great and looks great. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to get too deep into the woods and everything else, and I'm just going to sit here and enjoy this episode. And I did. And seeing everyone have fun. It reminded me, I think it was Q-Who. Is that the one where the Robin Hood episode?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was another one. I was like, I don't care about. That was more of a, Q's going to throw them into this world. But you know what? Again, everyone looked great. It was a fun episode, and that's kind of where I landed with this. I thought we'd get in, and then we did eventually. Like, oh, he's a spy. So's Garrick, and I liked it earlier in the episode where they danced around, and then they had the one very intense conversation about it. Very brief though, but again, all that said to say, I liked it. I didn't hate it like I usually do, and I think that again, it was the right holosuite for me, a Bond thing, and then I just thought they played it the right way. They played it for fun. I knew everyone was going to be okay. We got into transporter magic, and we'll get into that. But yeah, I'm not going to do a parade for this and greatest episode ever, but I had fun. So,
well, I told you, and I could be wrong, but like Klingon episode, Ferengi episodes, like Next Gen did okay with Klingon. They didn't do good with Ferengi. And I said, Deep Space Nine figures some of this stuff out. They will make you like Ferengi episodes. They will make you like holosuite episodes. I know I said that. And honestly, I think I know we've had some misfires with the holodeck with Voyager, but there's some really good Voyager holodeck stuff coming too. So like, I think it starts to get a little better on the holodeck stuff. But you're right. Next Gen had some real stinkers, and I get it. I get it. Even though I disagreed with some of the ones you thought were stinkers on the Next Gen. But this one,
but we had some really good ones despite that in TNG too.
I liked the Sherlock Holmes stuff, although I didn't though, right? Like I thought I did, and then like at least the first one, I was like, this is bad, but I thought I liked it. Yeah. Anyway, Zoe watched both of these, last week's Voyager and this with me. She's been sneaking around for Deep Space Nine the last couple times because the Voyagers haven't been great, and she's like, well, I'll just stay for the next one. And then she's like, oh, this is she did it like 3 Deep Space Nines ago, and she's like, this is so much better than the Voyager. I'm like, yeah, you should just watch both. So she's never seen a James Bond movie, didn't know what James Bond was did not get any of the references in that regard because she's a little young. But I was like, if you enjoy this, we can check out some James Bond because James Bond's fun. I like James Bond. I haven't seen as many as I should. I've seen all the ones that came out in my lifetime, and I've seen a handful of the old ones, but I need to go. I've always wanted to go back and watch them all, and I haven't done that.
I feel like I'm still missing a few here and there.
So the science-y stuff made no sense. The computer transporter buffer. I honestly, I almost wish they would have spent no time at all getting them trying to solve it, except Rom was so good in those scenes that it's hard to be like, get rid of those scenes. Odo and Eddington don't. That was a waste of time. But once you got Rom involved, it was like, oh, okay. And Quark had some really good lines in it.
Yeah, he made me laugh, and I thought I loved that Rom was just like, well, they're like, this is a mess. He's like, you guys don't give me any money to do this, and I'm supposed to keep it
Quark
kind of.
Doesn't give him any money.
Yes, exactly.
Quark's the corner cut.
Yeah. And so I thought that was hilarious.
This is where in the first season or two they showed Rom as a bumbling imbecile who couldn't fix anything, and now the we're supposed to believe he's an engineering genius. And I've just chosen to ignore those first seasons. And when we watched those first seasons, I was like, well, this doesn't make any sense. He's a genius. Why are they acting like he doesn't know anything?
Well, yeah, and I'm sure whatever the setup looked ridiculous, but
it worked.
It's genius with what he has to work with. Yeah.
Well, and with O'Brien being one of the people stuck in the holodeck, they had no good engineers apparently, because even though he has a whole staff, we never see any of them other than that one girl like once and then not ever again. And Eddington didn't know how to fix it. So good thing they had Rom, because they apparently don't have any Starfleet. I guess all the Starfleet engineers are still like polishing all the new weapons they just added, and we don't have time to do this. So we really drop into this episode like cold mid what are they, in Veritas or whatever, where like we're getting a body smashing through the glass, no explanation for what's going on.
Yeah.
And then Bashir knocks him out with a cork before saying his name is Bashir, Julian Bashir.
I read that this episode they had to create a lot of extra sets, and also music. It took them longer to do this episode. They had to build more sets, and that first shot where the guy falls through the window, they had to use tempered glass instead of the more fake glass because it just didn't look right. So
that was apparently Falcon, because later in the episode they mentioned that I should have gotten you with more than a cork, but he wasn't wearing an eye patch in that scene, and I don't think the cork hit him in the eye. If he had hit him in the eye, that would have made sense. But I don't think it hit him in the eye.
Yeah, it looked like. And actually, I read that one of the guy that I think the set designer or whoever was the one that had to shoot the cork, and he only had one. They're like, you get one shot at this, and he nailed it. And
then, the music cues, we got some Bond-esque music cues without stepping on Bond's feet, which I love. What I guess I should have said this in my first impression, but this episode seemed purely designed for the cast and creators to have fun without it needing to be like, we're going to let these 5 that we bring in ham it up. Bashir gets to ham it up. Oh, no, sorry, you're out. Quark and Rom are going to give you some fun bit. Jake, you're not even a part of it. But the rest of you get to enjoy yourselves and have fun in this ridiculous premise. And that's what made it so good.
That's kind of where I went with it. Like I said, like kind of with Q who. That should be easier to say than it probably is for most people. But yeah, that's where I landed with it. And I think considering the run we've been on with Deep Space Nine, it's like, you know what? If you're going to do let's take a breather episode. This is fun. And again, Alexander Siddiq, he's great. I love him in this.
Wonderful.
And then by the way, Garrick shows up. At first I'm like, all right. And it's like, should he be there? And, but they...
No. So I'll tell you why. Here's the thing. Story-wise, it makes, in terms of the plot of this episode, Garrick doesn't add anything to it. Where it's very valuable to have him is he was essentially a real-life James Bond for a very different government. And so you start to get those parallels. And so I give huge credit for Ron D. Moore, who wrote this episode, of recognizing if we're going to do a spy series, we need our resident spy to come in and comment on it. And the realism or lack thereof. And it ended up like, and then he made it tie in at the end. So it wasn't just a commentary. Like, he found a really clever way to bring it all together. And so superficially, Garrick doesn't belong. He doesn't contribute to the story. But from a character standpoint of who Garrick is, it's brilliant to bring him in for this and to do it.
Well, and it makes it more fun. And right away I was like,
Garrick and Bashir are always a great
spy and a spy. And I love the idea. And I guess in 1995, when this aired late 95, everyone knew what they were spoofing or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And even now, most people
know if they did it today.
Most people would know.
Worlds did it, we'd know.
Yeah.
Directed by Winwich Colby, another regular, because of course you're going to use somebody you can rely on for this.
But yeah, so again, him showing up, I'm like, okay, let's have fun, let's do this, and that's where Bashir uses the word privacy, says privacy, just in case
he has the British
know.
accent.
Yeah, just in case we didn't know. And of course, he's like, this is a holo suite security breach for you to be in here. I'm like, oh, what a surprise. And then, later we get, oh, I guess the security protocols aren't working. It's like, of course they're not.
But they were working when Garrick got in. He bypassed.
That's true. But yeah, I didn't get mad. I still didn't get mad.
It's interesting because Garrick's like, usually you tell us everything. You've been secretive about this program, so I'm going to find out what it is, which is totally in keeping for Garrick.
I did enjoy We're right in the heart of Seinfeld as far as being on the air. So Garrick showing up and then ruining it for Bashir with the blonde that's there at the beginning. I'm calling her the blonde, which is unfair. Her name was Caprice.
Her name was Caprice.
Yeah.
Played by Melissa Young,
who
was best known for Tin Cup, where she played literally beautiful blonde.
Okay.
This episode, Deep Space Nine, on The Bold and the Beautiful, she just did one episode as Forrester model, and then she did 2 episodes of the original Beverly Hills 90210 as Lynette. She only has 25 credits, but yeah.
While we're here, I'm trying to think of the podcast I was listening to. I think it might have been actually the Big Picture podcast, the movie podcast on The Ringer. They got into like looking up an actor or actress and looked at their IMDb credits and said, oh, they're known for, and then they're like, there's a problem with this algorithm. I was like, yeah, we know. we know.
Oh, we definitely know. We definitely.
But I thought him showing up and ruining it for Bashir with Caprice was very Kramer ruining things for Jerry. So many times he ruins it for Jerry, and actually more often than not, and this is just a me thing, or me and a Bashir thing maybe. He always ruins it. I think the times he ruins it the most is when it's a blonde. So that's for the Seinfeld podcast. But just right away, and I like that they went with like she doesn't give a crap who Garrick is. She's like, I'm out of here. And that makes sense. It makes sense. So that made me laugh.
Well, and then we have the Garrick line that throws to theme song. Oh, what could possibly go wrong?
Well, and
if he sticks around in the Hollow Suite.
And I don't know if it's right then. He says clearly Intel service.
Yeah, that's later. That's okay. After the credits. Okay. But just he worked for the wrong agency. No, because obviously his life was very different than what's portrayed in Bond. But I think that's also, you could also point to like the reality versus the television version or the movie version of things.
Yes.
I will say right here at the beginning, calling it Our Man Bashir, as much as I like that title, it really should have been a Bond reference, right?
So maybe I've got it here. They said they were trying to reference like a bunch of the 60s sci-fi, or not sci-fi, secret agent things. So Our Man Flint was a series, I think there were 2 movies.
1966 film.
Yeah, with James Coburn, which is, I hadn't seen that in probably 40 some years as a kid. Yeah, Our Man Flint.
Well, Our Man Flint was a parody of the James Bond film series.
Yes.
So, because they're parodying it for Star Trek.
Yes. Yep. Okay. And James Bond, Our Man Flint, The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Wild Wild West. So which also makes sense that it's like, this is a Star Trek show, and we're going to reference a bunch of things from when the series started, or things that were around at the same time. So yeah, there is a warm, cozy feeling for me, and maybe other folks as well. But
so we'll get back from the credits, and Bashir introduces us to his valet, whose name Mona Loves It, which is the PG version of a Bond girl name.
Yeah.
Like Octopussy or whatever.
It was something else. It was Susie Loves It. So actually, it was pretty much the same thing. They just changed it to Mona.
But Mona makes it even more sexual.
Yeah. And then actually, somewhere soon after, first they say sabotage, and it's weird. And I didn't do the research on this. I should have followed up. I'll see if I can find something. But I think Garrick says ostentatious, but he says ostentatious.
Okay.
And we're about a year and a half from Austin Powers dropping the ultimate 60s.
That's true.
Or the ultimate Bond parody.
That's where the fact that it was the 60s, that was one of my 2 alternate episodes is, can't we work a Kirk in here or something? Like, or Gary 7, some reference to what was going on.
Oh, that would have been great. That would have been awesome.
So you talk about them building sets. As far as I could tell, they built 3 sets. And they were big sets, but they reused like all of them. And it was really weird because the nightclub was in Paris, but his apartment was in Hong Kong. And Garrick even comments, like, how do we get from Paris to Hong Kong, like, immediately? And yet then they go back to Paris, back to the club. And that to me, I'm like, oh, that's fun. The Paris to Hong Kong. And did it have to be Paris? Because we've already got Tom Paris, but,
yeah. And I just loved it had the very TOS 60s look to a lot of those sets, too. I thought they did a great job of making it look that way.
Now, they did say that I see on Memory Alpha that Alexander Siddig and Nana Visitor had become romantically involved by the time this episode was filmed. So that chemistry that Bashir and Kira had was authentic.
And I think it's funny, and this is a note I took later, but I love that Nana Visitor was like, yep, I'm going to do a Russian accent. But Cole Meany
doesn't change. None of the rest of them change the accent. None of the rest of them.
To me, in a meta way, that's hilarious.
Yes.
But to me, Falcon's the guy who should have
the accent. Yeah.
Should have some kind of accent.
Marcy Brickhouse played Mona. Loves it.
Now that's a name that sounds like a Bond girl name. Marcy
Brickhouse. She has even less credits than Caprice. She's best known for this part. Muffin Top, a Love Story, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I am looking through Memory Alpha as we're talking about this. And apparently after this episode, they got an angry letter from MGM.
Yes.
Who holds the James Bond saying like that they said that they did not reveal the content of the letter other than to say they did not find imitation to be the sincerest form of flattery. And when they revisit this holodeck program next season, they will get a lot more subtle with their references to Bond.
Yes, I did read that. Also, Marcy Brickhouse did two or three episodes of Baywatch. So,
nice.
Which isn't surprising. And I didn't dig deep into Marcy Brickhouse, which are things that I hope don't show up on my anywhere else. But I feel I wonder if that's her actual name. But
did you see a Memory Alpha? They said this episode is credited to helping turn around fan opinion on Dr. Bashir's character. I think we already had gotten to like him, but this was like such a good showcase for him that I could see that.
Oh, this is what the other thing. So while they were like, hey, obscure the references next time. So in 2022, Kim Sherwood wrote a novel, Double or Nothing, commissioned by Ian Fleming, the guy who wrote all the original Bond ones, set in the world of James Bond. And it's about an agent named Sid Bashir. And she confirmed that, or him, it's a Kim, so it's English. It's
it could be either.
There's a reference to the character of Julian Bashir and the actor Alexander Siddig. And further noted that our Man Bashir was her first exposure to the James Bond franchise. So that's a great coda to the whole thing. So
they also have a quote from Andrew Robinson saying they had planned to do a whole bunch of these episodes until MGM got mad. So
this is a whole suite I'm in for.
They also talked about Robert Hewitt Wolf was the person that came up with the name for Kira's character, Anastasia Kamaninoff. And they said Ira Stephen Bear came up with Mona Loves It and Hippocrates Noah. Those names are just so good.
But and Austin Powers came in and did the same thing, I love Anatapa or whatever, and all that. That's probably the tamest name, but.
Well, I wrote down Honey Bear as one word, and then I realized it was two words, but they do spell it Bare.
Yes, I didn't realize that until I looked it up today too.
Because we got multiple Bond girls in this, which is great. They did say Honey Rider, of course, was in Dr. No. Obviously, Dr. No was the first Bond movie, and Dr. Noah was a reference to that. They're just the references are so, oof. And they did say Bashir even uses a gun that's a signature weapon for James Bond. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, go on Memory Alpha, read everything because it's all such beautiful. Duchamp's Worf's character's a homage parody to a villain in Casino Royale. And I was trying to, honestly, the reason I was even going to Memory Alpha is I wanted to find out about the smoking because there was so much smoking in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
And Funny, this episode aired 10 days after the release of GoldenEye, which was the first Bond film in 6 years as a Pierce Brosnan Bond film. So it was very much in the public eye, and that would have been there. Yeah, Baccarat, of course, was something that Bond played in movies.
Yeah, the universe is always listening because I just got a text from someone about Pierce Brosnan wanting to do one more Bond movie as an older Bond.
He should.
Yeah.
Sean Connery did it on a separate studio.
Yes.
But yeah, they should.
And they said the same thing, like, I'm there for this. I'm like, so why?
Yeah, me too. Pierce Brosnan's great. And has only gotten better with age.
Yeah. I think, fantastic. Like, I know he got held back from getting into Bond, but I think it worked out fine. His career worked out pretty good. He's doing good. It's a good dude.
Yeah. Well, we haven't even got to my favorite holodeck thing in Deep Space Nine, the Vegas lounge singers in the like early Vegas, like Sinatra at Rat Pack era. Vegas.
Yeah.
They're gonna use that as a regular set.
Oh, okay.
Not just like an episode, but like that's gonna be a, like, if you don't want to go to Quarks, we're gonna have a Vegas lounge that we're going to hang out in. And they have a Sinatra style singer who ends up doing a lot of those old standards on the show. He'll sing The Way You Look Tonight and Paper Moon and a lot of that stuff, I think. Vic Fontaine is the character's name. James Darren was the actual actor. He's dead now.
Oh, really?
But yeah, he will be, I don't know if they had him this season or next season, and he will be a completely holographic character, but he's the one reoccurring holographic character that does a whole bunch of episodes up to and including the series finale. So yeah.
Yeah,
I bought his album after Deep Space Nine, when he was on Deep Space Nine, and it was great.
James Darren, also from TJ Hooker.
Nice. So anyway,
Johnny Fontaine is the guy in The Godfather. So
okay,
yeah,
I'm going to close Memory Alpha because I'll spend all night talking about that. Back to the episode itself. Well, I mean, we were talking about the episode, but back to my notes on the episode. So we get to the scene where the 5 crewmen are coming back on the runabout. Getting lost. Why are they on a runabout instead of the Defiant? Is it just so they can blow it up and get them lost?
I missed that they were on a runabout until thankfully somebody said their runabout blew up, because I was like, wait a minute. The Defiant couldn't have blown up. But
no, they were all cramped. They were all cramped on the front compartment.
And as soon as they cut to them, I was like, oh, something's going to go wrong. Because there was no reason to just be like, hey, what are you guys up to?
Well, I don't think we've ever seen 5 people crammed into a runabout before.
Yeah,
like 5
that's true too. Yeah.
We're like, okay.
But I knew something was going to go wrong with them. I didn't know it was going to be a transporter thing.
Of course it's a transport thing.
And then we go into all the transporter magic and all of that. Yeah.
And Eddington is not a competent officer that much, I guess.
It didn't seem like it.
No. I mean, he gets the computer to help him, but he doesn't even understand what the computer's doing.
Yeah.
And the station computer's not big enough to save their patterns. I did appreciate the one science thing that I was like, that makes sense, is their bodies, easy to store in the holodeck. Brains takes up the entire station.
I did appreciate that.
Yeah. Kira on the bed. That's the first reveal that something's weird in the holodeck program. And my first thought was, and I'm really glad they didn't play it this way, but is Bashir pulling a Barclay and making his holodeck characters look like his coworkers?
I think that's where they wanted us to go. And then I was like, nope, but
I loved your KGB accent and all of that.
I love that whenever Nana visited, they're like, hey, we want you to play somebody different. She's like, all right, can I wear as little as possible and really go into it? And she does.
It wasn't skimpy. It was long, but it was a nightgown. So it was silky.
She was great regardless. And
of course she was. She always is.
And then you, as you mentioned, this was around the time they were dating.
Yeah. So we find out Professor Honeybear is kidnapped and she's in danger. And because this holosuite program, they don't know what'll happen with the real people. Now we've got some real stakes, apparently, even though we know nobody's going to die.
Yeah.
Then Mona dies, which was like, oh, is that supposed to make us think other people can die if Mona dies? I guess just to show us how dangerous is there. And Garrick bleeds to show us the safeties are off.
Yeah, I knew as soon as she was there that, which is again a classic Bond girl thing, that lots of the women he sleeps with end up dead, especially if they're treated just like a set of boobs. But just to back up a little bit or go forward, The fashion, of course, I thought was great. Garrick's jacket, I loved. I I think I've worn a jacket like that on stage, but I thought I had one, but it's not. I don't. But and
Mm.
then I felt like it was a little bit also of not only a nod to the Bond series, but our guy Bill Teese from the TOS series. Not only the Bond women, but our girl Nana Visitor. So
Well, I thought the Bill Teese homage was the girl dancing in the cage and very little or
yes,
whatever.
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. I think
That
that's
felt
when I
like an
wrote that.
original series outfit, but that was very 60s appropriate.
I think that's when I wrote that specific note right then. Yeah.
I mean, my other alternate episode I wrote down was what if this had been an adult program that parodied Bond? Because especially once we got a person on the bed, and we know people use the holosuite for sex.
Mine was, what if we just watch Bashir do the 007 thing? Do we need all the other
We
stuff?
don't. We don't.
Huh.
We
I
could
mean,
just say he invited all of his friends to play with him, and that's why we
oh
get him.
yeah, see that would be fun. And if Garrick's there, and then I don't. I think we just have and I also as I wrote this, I was like, oh yeah, there's lots of people on YouTube that make a lot of money just having people watch them play video games. I'd be glad to just watch Bashir play this. So
I
yeah,
think I think Garrick went way too quick to let's kill O'Brien because he's going to try to kill us. Like if
yeah,
you tied him up good,
yep.
whatever, the safeties are off. We know that. We know they're trying to kill him. I appreciated that Garrick eventually got like just kill them all and save ourselves because that makes sense to me for Garrick.
Hmm.
Absolutely. I just think he went there too hard, too fast.
I agree.
And they would have been better served to stretch that out a little bit. But he was right that it's not a game. Like our lives are in danger.
Yeah.
I liked Bashir playing Worf Baccarat for money and the trick cigar of him knocking him out by puffing in. So much smoking in this episode. They get to Dr. Noah's hideout and they mention that it's 25,000 feet up Everest. And yet James Bond is British, so it should be kilometers. And also Starfleet uses kilometers. So there's no reason to say feet other than American audiences. I think that was a real miss by Ron D. Moore. It should have been however many
Wait,
kilometers it
I
was.
don't. Well, I guess. Oh, right. The English invented it, but yeah, we still have. Yeah, yeah. I don't
I
remember
was a little bit.
the Bond movies if they used. Well, they probably didn't convert till after the 60s.
They would probably use British units of measurement instead of our version because they're still British. I know we make them in American studios, but Bond himself is British.
But I don't think they started using meters till, well, other than, well,
The metric system was invented in 1795
wow. I should know that.
in France during the French Revolution. When did the British adopt the metric system? 1965.
Okay.
So you could be right there.
All right. So
The imperial units like miles, feet, inches, and stuff was still commonly used alongside the official metric system. So I withdraw. Thank you. I withdraw my complaint.
I would just, yeah, because I mean, and
They would have still been using feet in
the sun
1965.
never sets on the British Empire, so they spread it all over the feet and yards and all that stuff.
Okay. And then they
So-
abandoned it. See, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize I thought the Americans invented the imperial system. Although it's called the imperial system, so that should have been my first clue.
We just refused to let it go. We fought them to start a new country, but nope, we're hanging on to it's the Neil Bargatze sketches on Saturday Night Live. So how long is that? How long is a mile? How many feet are in a mile? Nobody knows.
5,280.
81, yeah.
81? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I couldn't remember entirely.
You're pretty close though.
think we should switch.
Right.
It's actually 5,280. I just Googled it.
Yeah,
We both got the first three digits right. Failed on the last one. I really think we should just adopt the metric system. I think we're being stupid.
Yeah.
And jerks. So I did not look up the science of if you make the molten lava come out, does it shrink the surface of the earth and make it go underwater? Is that all accurate? That seems very Bond. Is it accurate?
I mean, it was very Bond. I'm going to tell you everything that's going to happen.
Yeah. No, that part I got. I just wasn't sure if the villain's plan would actually work or not.
Right.
Although I was completely intrigued by the whole thing. It intrigued me. I thought it was a very classic supervillain plan. So
yes.
Anyway, so we get to see Rom running all those pipes, which was wonderful, and Eddington saying, "O'Brien's gonna kill me" when he comes out. I liked that a lot. The cave set where Garak and Bashir were tied up, that is very much a cave set we've seen before in Deep Space Nine that they just put their contraption in the middle of. That was not a new set they built for this. That was a standing set. They talk about the finest minds on Earth repopulating. I feel like that's Elon Musk's plan.
Yeah, and a lot of us think of him as pretty much a Bond villain.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, I think
Dax takes off her glasses, shakes out her hair, and kisses. That's very 1990s, right? That's 1990s, not 60s, right?
This is what really.
She's all that.
One of the many things that really struck me. I wrote down "She's all Dax" because that's essentially "She's all that" is.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, yes. And we're we're only 3 years away from "She's all that" at this point.
Yeah,
it comes out 3 years later, and which is insane to think about. Like I said, Austin Powers is a year and a half. She's all that is like 3 years or a little over 3 years away. But yeah, that's the whole story, and it also echoes. I think maybe it was right around this time. The Bond movie with Denise Richards playing a like a nuclear scientist.
Was that GoldenEye, which had come out? No, that's The World Is Not Enough.
I think it was a later one.
Yeah, no, that was she played Christmas Jones. That was
The World Is Not Enough.
4 years after this.
Yeah, so that's one I don't think I have seen.
Oh, I saw the Pierce Brosnan ones in theaters.
I saw GoldenEye and I saw Die Another Day because Michelle, I saw Die Another Day on a plane.
So you're saying
The World Is Not Enough. All right.
Bond with Denise Richards was copying Dax in this episode?
Yeah. Her name is Dr. Christmas Jones.
Yes.
So a few more episodes of that too. Wow.
So we're told at this point that if the story plays out as it should, that either Kira or Dax is going to die. And then we also realize that Sisko would also die. So we're going to lose two of our leads if we don't figure out how to fix it. Garak wants to quit. And Bashir shoots him like in the neck. It's just a graze. If he'd been a quarter of an inch off, he would have killed him. But, God protected him because Garak needed to win a third term as president. Right. That was my thought when I saw the injury. But also the Garak said you could have killed me, and Bashir's like, how do you know I wasn't trying to?
Right.
Which was a great line. I don't think for a second Bashir was trying to, but I like that Bashir gave him that impression.
Well, and doesn't Garak say something like, well, I just wanted to test you and see if you'd be willing to, right? Or something like that.
Well, yeah, because after Bashir does that, he's all of a sudden like, well, I got all the respect for you now. Of course I'm going to follow you into whatever you're going to choose.
Yeah.
To me, I don't think Garak was really testing Bashir, but I do think it did give Garak more respect for Bashir when Bashir shot him. And I think their relationship is evolving, and I liked that. I appreciated that. So Bashir comes up with a brilliant scheme to save the day by destroying the world. That was so good. I credit Rodney Moore entirely because that's not something I would have thought of. It's just so brilliant. I'm just going to agree with Dr. Noah, and I'm going to push the button for him and keep talking so that nobody dies.
Yeah, and I like that. That was a good twist.
Well, that's when Bashir channels Garak and basically repeats his words back to him, which is, it's funny that you have to become the bad spy, but the realistic spy that survived. I mean, Garak survived when a lot of his peers were killed, and Bashir needed to survive and help them survive. So I guess in a way you could say oh yeah, of course he should be channeling Garak. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of different ways you could pick this apart and look at it, but all of them hold up. It's such a solidly built climax that you can't knock it down. I don't know. I was just impressed by how complex it is and how well it fits together.
I knew, like I said, I knew from the beginning, it was if Garak's here, we're going to have some spy talk, which we should. And I can't remember, do they get into if you're a spy, it's the most boring thing, right? No. Is that in this? Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
No. But he did say, I'm Julie Bashir. The next episode they're going to do this is, I'm Julie Bashir. I used to be a spy. No, I'm just kidding. The burn notice monologue. That would be fun. Bird Nest didn't exist. I loved Cisco, Dr. Noah, saying, I didn't expect to win. That was just like that was where you're like, oh yeah, he's still the holodeck character. The holodeck character would not have expected to win.
Yep.
And then the end, I loved that they weren't done with the program, even though, like, if I were Bashir, I think I might be done with the program, but I like that he wasn't.
Yeah.
Like the promise of more. And I also liked that we did have O'Brien complaining about what Rom had done to his station. Even though, like, yeah.
So their whole thing for Deep Space Nine was like, we're not doing a damaged holodeck story. We're not doing this. And so, but they wanted to do a holodeck story, but the idea was we're not going to do a damaged holodeck story. And so they kind of hit on this. This was like the compromise.
The holodeck wasn't, well, it was damaged because the safety protocols were off, but that was only because the whole station was damaged.
Right. And that was because they had to once they, yeah. So it's a technicality, but I do like that their approach was like, we're not doing these again. Well, wait a minute, maybe. And again, like where I started, I was like, if you're going to give me Alexander Siddig as a Bond character and all this other stuff, continue. Go on.
That being said, it did take us about 10 seconds to come up with a solution where they didn't have to have a broken holodeck.
Right. But yeah.
Still.
I wish they could have called it. Well, they could have called you too, but they could have called either of us in 95.
They could have. I would have been 12. I don't know that I would have been smart to figure it out, but I can figure it out now.
Parents might be like, yeah, there's somebody from LA on the phone for you. One other thing. So this got 2 Emmy nominations. One was for Outstanding Music Composition, which we talked about. The other was, and this is all I could think about in the first scene with Not a Visitor, was like, her hair looks amazing. And I was like, I think that's a wig. I don't care. It was also nominated for Outstanding Hairstyling for a series. Not to I mean, all the extras and everybody else and the stuff they were doing as well. But so I thought that was cool. It didn't win. I don't know who beat them. Sorry, I didn't go that far, listeners. But still, for hairstyling, absolutely worthy. I would imagine Perry Farrell doing the hair commercial, flipping of the hair, probably helped too. But yeah, those are all my notes.
Okay, let's get to the rankings then. Who is your shady character in our Man Bashir?
Garrick, just for showing up. What are you doing here?
See, I thought Garrick was actually very upfront with things. I really
that's true. You're right.
I really struggled to find shady, but I ended up going with Bashir because of his bluff at the end.
All right. I like that.
It's a stretch, but I just thought there wasn't anybody like trying to get one over on everybody else in this one. Who is your annoyance in our Man Bashir?
I feel like based on what I just said, I need to change this, but just the writers, and actually the first paragraph of the Wikipedia says the episode's plot involves a combination of too much used and TWO, much used Star Trek plot devices, a transport accident and a holodeck malfunction. So I hate that part of it, but I thought they did a good job of working around it. So
are you doing Randy Moore?
No, I'm trying to think of somebody else to be annoying.
I chose Garrick, and I can't believe I'm going to say this. You've chosen him before, but he was just too just kill him. Like, I get it. It wasn't out of character, but it was. I did not like Garrick.
All right, you know what? I'll go with that too because I agree with you.
Yeah, sorry, Garrick. We love you. We love you. We promise. But in this episode, not as much. I'm going to have to look at our thing because somehow I did not write down my drink for the last episode on this. I know I had it. Anyway, for the Sort of K list, I don't have a drink listed. I should.
Oh.
Who are you having a drink with in our Man Bashir?
This is going to surprise nobody. Our girl, Mona, Brickhouse.
Okay. I didn't go with Mona Loves It, but I didn't go that far away. I went with Anastasia Kamananov.
Yeah, that's a good call too. Yeah, I mean, Not a Visitor always looks great. And I just thought, again, her commitment every time. I mean, she's great as her actual character. And whenever she has to deviate, I'm sure, I feel like in everything Not a Visitor does, she commits. So I need to do that. I need to just start going through her whole filmography.
Well, I will say that my choice of Anastasia, as my drink was not purely Kira's looks, even though obviously she was beautiful. She was capable. She was intelligent. She was his equal in every way. Bashir, like the spy character.
Oh, yeah.
She was the KGB spy in his counterpart, but like part of their romance, and it seemed like they had a romance that extended beyond one story, was because she was his equal, and they had done these missions together, and they had done, so that's part of it, was like they just truly felt like an actual couple, which part of that could be because of the real life stuff, but
yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was a really well developed character.
Yeah.
The character itself of Anastasia. Ranking the episode, I don't even know where to start. I mean, I definitely was starting at the top, but it's been such a strong season that I think we should go at least a few down.
Yeah.
Let's go with the last fun one, which was that I can think of as like obviously fun, which was Little Green Men, the Ferengi on Earth and Roswell.
That's a good.
I would go above that though.
That's really close. Oof, for me.
I think they're both excellent. It was not a.
What's above Little Green?
Right now, that's Indiscretion.
I'm gonna say we're just deciding between Little Green Men and this episode. Then
I agree, because below Little Green Men is sort of Kalis.
Yeah,
which is good, but I would put this above. I think I would go above Little Green Men.
I feel like they're similar episodes.
They are.
They're both very.
And I do think it's close.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like, oh, obviously this is way better.
I feel like in both episodes, it's kind of like, I'm going to turn off my brain a little bit and just enjoy what everyone's up to.
Yeah.
I think I put Little Green Men above it. So
okay.
Can we put another pin in that for Keith?
He's got a lot of work to do. We can. We need to get, if
Keith never gets there, we'll just flip a coin or a federation.
So we can make Shane do the Voyager one and Keith do the
yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah. I agree that they're very similar episodes. So where it was me, I love Little Green Men, but it only gave the Ferengi characters the fun. And where this one edges it out for me is because so many of the characters got in on it.
That's true.
Anyway, next week, Star Trek Voyager Resistance. Disguised on an away mission, Captain Janeway is rescued by a man who thinks that she is his daughter. Huh. Interesting concept. Right. It will also star Joel Grey and Glenn Morshower. You would know who Glenn is.
Sure I will.
Yeah, he was on TNG in episode 24. He was big on 24. Friday Night Lights. Yeah, he's very recognizable.
Okay, I'm sure.
But yeah, him and Joel Grey, of course, Oscar winner, Tony winner. I assume he's an Oscar winner. I guess I didn't check that, but he's definitely a Tony winner. Joel Grey. Until then,
Joel Grey, I definitely recognize.
Live long.
But and only twice. Or live long and let die. And prosper.
Get 6 more Bond references next 30 seconds.
I was gonna look up. I think there are more lives.
Casino live.
Yeah. Live long another day and prosper.
From Russia with Liv.
Now we can.
That was a dumb one.
It's All Been Done presents
Who's Got the Time?